Hi everyone, welcome back. In the last video we did two things. The first thing we did was we ran this database on a machine that is present in Singapore, and the second thing we did was we connected our HTTP server with this database. So this database is running on a machine that is present in Singapore, and the disadvantage of this is when we run migrations from our server it takes a lot of time. In this video, what we are going to do, we are going to run this database locally on our machine with the help of Docker. Okay, so without further ado, let's start our video. So first of all, we have to come to this website, this Docker Hub, where we have this Postgres image. So the first thing that we are going to do is pull this Postgres image in our local computer. And before that, make sure you have installed Docker in your computer. So let me come to this VS Code, and here is the prerequisite. So you should have Docker installed in your system, and once the Docker installed in your system, you can pull the Postgres Docker image. So how do we pull this Postgres Docker image? We run this command docker pull Postgres. So let me open this terminal, and here let me show you how you can check whether Docker is installed in your computer or not. So you have to type Docker and press enter. If you see something like this, that means Docker is installed. Once you make sure that Docker is installed in your computer, then you can do the pulling thing. So let's pull this Docker image. So how do we pull this? We run docker pull, and the name of the image that was Postgres. Once you run this command, it will pull this Postgres database in your system. So I've already ran this command, and so let me show you the images that I have locally in my computer. So to see all the images, you run this command docker images, and right now I have this Postgres image, this Dragon backend image, this Mongo, and this Redis image. For this video we need this Postgres image, so we have pulled this Postgres image. Now the second thing we have to do is we have to run this Postgres Docker container. Okay, so to run a Docker container we have to run this command docker run the name of the container, and then we have some environmental variables like the Postgres username, the Postgres password, and the Postgres database name. Then we have this -d flag. That means we are running this container in detach mode, and then we are doing this -p flag. It means port mapping. So the port of my computer 5432 is mapped with the port of 5432 of the container. So let me show you what port mapping is. So basically our Postgres database is running inside a container, and it is running on the port 5432 of the container, and all the requests to this database will come to this port 5432. This is the port of my computer, and this is the port of this container. Okay, so if a request come to this port, I should map to the port of this Docker container. So this is known as port mapping, where I am mapping the port of my computer to the port of this Docker container. So how do we map this? So we write this -p flag with the port of my computer, with the port of my computer, with the port of my computer to the port of the Docker. Okay, so let's run our container. So let's come to our terminal and run. So docker run name of our container, so let's make it Twitter container. Then what we have to do next, we have to pass environmental variables. First we have to pass Postgres a password. So let me make it simple. Let's do 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is the Postgres password, and we are running this in detach mode. And now we have to do the port mapping, that is 5432 port of my computer to the port of this container, that is 5432, and then the name of the image, that is Postgres. Okay, so docker run, the name of the container is Twitter container, Then we have to pass this environmental variable Postgres password, that is 1234. Then we are running this container in detach mode. Then we are doing this port mapping, and then this is the image name, and press enter. It will show you the container ID. So let's check whether this container is running or not. So to check the running container, we use this command docker ps. Okay, and you can see this is the container ID that starts from 0fe. This is the image Postgres, and created 14 seconds ago. And this is the port of my computer, and this is the port of the docker container. Okay, and the name is the Twitter container. So this container name is Twitter container. Okay, so now let's run some bash command inside this container. So to do that, we run docker exec interactive mode, and then we have to pass the container ID, that is 0fe, and then bin/bash. So if you can see from this Arvind@a, we are inside the container that is root@0fe. So this 0fe is the container ID. Okay, so we are inside the container, and now we can access our database using this PSQL. So PSQL is an interactive command line interface that helps us to interact with our Postgres database. So after writing this PSQL, we have to write the connection string. So let's write the connection string. It is Postgres : / and the name of the Postgres user. By default, we did not provide any Postgres username, so by default it is Postgres. And here it is not Postgres, it is Postgres, PostgreSQL. And after that, after passing the user, we have to pass the password, I guess. So let's see. Yes, we have to pass the password, that is : 123456, and then @ localhost, and the port that was 5432, and then the name of the database. By default, the name of the database is as same as the name of the user, which is Postgres. And let's see. So now we are inside this Postgres database. Now if you let's see all the tables. So right now we do not have any tables. So let's run a migration and let's create some table. So let's come to this env file, and here we have to change this URL. Okay, and here we have to write the name of the user, that is Postgres : and the password, that is 123456 @localhost /5432 / the name of the container, the name of the database Postgres. Let's save it and let's run the migration. So npx prisma migrate dev -- name, and the name of the migration, that let's call it docker migration, and let's run it. And if you can see here, the migration took very less time as compared to yesterday. This took like couple of seconds, and I think migration is done. So let's check the table here. So /dt, and you can see we have two tables, testing and user. Okay, so this is how we can run Postgres locally in our computer. The biggest advantage of doing this is it makes our migration, all the queries, really fast. If you did not understand anything, it is okay. You can use the NeonDB database, but it is good to know that you can run Postgres locally using Docker. So let me summarize what we did today. So the first thing that you have to do is to install Docker in your system. Then the second thing you have to do is to pull the Postgres image. Then you have to run this Postgres container. So to run a Postgres container, we have to run docker run the name of the container, and we are passing some environmental variable. Here we are passing the Postgres user, Postgres password, Postgres database. D minus D is for detach mode, hyphen P is for port mapping. So we are mapping this port of our computer, that is 5432, to the port of the container, and then the name of the container. So after running our computer, we can open a bash shell inside a computer. To open a bash shell inside a computer, we run this command docker exec -it. -it means interactive mode. Then here you can pass the name of the container, or you can pass the container ID, then bin/bash. Once you are inside the container, you can access your database using this PSQL. So PSQL and then the connection string. So this connection string starts from PostgreSQL colon double slash, then the username, then its password, then localhost. This is the port where this Postgres database is running, and then the name of your database. Okay. One more thing, if you want to stop your container, you can run this command docker stop the name of the container. You can also pass here, instead of the name, you can also pass the ID of the container. And to remove the container, so you can use this docker rm means remove, and then the name of the container, or you can pass the uh, ID of the container. You can also remove the image. To remove the image, you have to run this command docker. Instead of rm, you have to write rmi, remove image, and then the name of the image or the image ID. Okay, so I have also provided this Docker documentation and Postgres documentation, so you can read more about these two things. So this is it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.